First up is Euro Country by Cmat. This was chosen by Phil Taylor, aka The Music Observer, and you can keep up to date with Phil's writing by following at music_observed on Instagram. So Carl, I'll kick off with you. Third album from what is it? Kiara, Mary, Alice. Is it Thompson?
Thompson, yeah.
Well, there we go. And again, something unplanned, but yeah, third album in. You've fully up to speed with her first two albums as
Mm.
well. So where do you rank Euro Country is?
Yeah, I mean, CMAT, you kind of touched on it in terms of a live show, but yeah, definitely one of the most interesting and compelling, you know, alt pop stars of current times, for sure. And yeah, in terms of the first two albums, probably didn't buy into the hype initially, I would say, with her debut. I was kind of late to the party with that one, which it's one of those where you listen back to it now and you kind of think, why did I not get this first time? It's like such a good album. But yeah, it was a last record, Crazy Mad for me, where I just think you know, just a superb singer-songwriter record. I think I had it 11th or 12th on my album of the year list when it was released, but it's one of those like Everything Harmony by the Lemon Twigs that has just grown in stature for me as time has gone on, and I've like the more I hear those songs and the more I keep returning to those albums, it just feels like a bit of a modern classic. And I think give it time. I think Crazy Mad for me would definitely be revered as such. It's really got that timeless kind of sentiment to it that I think does last over time. So, but yeah, I think following that, there's not there's not too much CMAT does different on Euro Country. It's another record brimming with just great songwriting, her infectious charm and witty way with words that she has. And yeah, I just think it's another great collection of songs. It's mostly very personal once again. Maybe it's a bit more political. A lot of it is criticizing, the current state of Ireland, something we'll probably also get into with one of the other albums later on as well. But I think the title track, sets the stage perfectly. Starts off with the lyrics in Irish, and then kind of transitions, talking about her quest for fame and stardom, and like loosely you can kind of hear the undertones of Ireland's own ambition as a nation and all this kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, it's kind of got like those levels to it where you can take the subcontext, but also just enjoy it for the great songs that they are as well. I think the first half is mostly the singles. When a Good Man Cries, the last single for the record and probably my favorite, really puts the country in Euro country. It's got that great kind of folky instrumentation and some incredible one-liners in there. I noted down here, Veruca Salt, her Just Desserts. It's just brilliant. And then the People's Mess, Dunbar and Diana. Um, yeah, that kills me every time as well. And she makes references to all these women that have been treated poorly in the press, which kind of, seems to be a running theme throughout the record as well. But yeah, we've got Jamie Oliver Petrol Station, which she jokes, won't make sense to the average listener. Again, kind of touching on, some of the subtext that she goes into. Um, which again, that song just sounds like she's ranting about, seeing Jamie Oliver's face at all these service stations while she's like out on tour and just getting sick of the sight of him. But underneath that, it's like this quirky meditation on, irrational hatred and intolerance. So yeah, I just love how her mind works. It
Hmm.
just it's thinking of how can I make a point about you know hatred and intolerance, and then she links it to how she feels about Jamie Oliver and stuff like that. So um yeah, first half is just pretty much all the singles. I got a shout out, obviously, "Take a Sexy Picture of Me," which yeah, it feels like one of the songs of the year. I think that and her Glasgow performance really has been, you know, that performance and that song has been what's kind of blown her up even more than what she was after Crazy Mad for me, I think. Um and yeah, I just love that considering that song's all about attending award ceremonies and festivals, then getting hammered with personal attacks in the comments about her looks, about her weight. It feels like for that song to take off like it has, it feels like a big middle finger to like the online trolls to turn, all that negative energy into, her most popular song. So I really, really love that. And yeah, I mean, so yeah, great run of singles to kick off the record, but in the back end, we get some really tender moments. You've got Iceberg, Coronation Street, which I heard both of those at her album launch show that she did here in Nottingham, and it was just her and an acoustic guitar. And I think, even on record, those songs kind of really shine, but, hearing them in that kind of like bare bones setting, you really kind of appreciate the songcraft, I would say. And then the one I've got to shout out in the back end as well, Lord Let That Tesla Crash, which, one of the most profound songs on the record, singing about, the loss of a friend and her pain and her regrets. If you dig into the lyrics on that song, just really heartbreaking. Um, I've noted a couple down. "I don't miss you like I should, but I'd kill myself to find out if you think this song is good." And then later on as well, "I don't miss you because I can't. If I think too much about you, I'll go mad." And it's just like a really heartbreaking song, that one. One of the standouts for me. Just a real beautiful track. And then yeah, she rounds it off with "Running Planning," another one of the singles, which still sounds fantastic. Obviously, the first one that she released, and "Janis Joplin," which is this, which I love the name of that song, by the way. Is this dramatic piano number that brings the whole album together. But yeah, just another fantastic album from Cmat, rightfully deserving of a Mercury Prize nomination, and I think in time I'll probably love it as much as Crazy Mad for me once I've lived with it a bit longer. There's not really a bad moment on here. Um, yeah, just continues for me to be one of the artists of the 2020s so far. Just like you said, an amazing live performer, and now I think with Euro Country, she's free for free. Um, just yeah, an amazing talent.
Oh, yeah, you didn't wax lyrical about Billy Byrne from Ballybrack, the leader of the Pigeon Convoy. So I thought we'd be
The-
spending most of the time
yeah, the name.
running through that, to be honest.
I
But
was I was reading as well the fact that I can't, what is it, 365. It's actually
because she didn't want to do Charlie XCF
yeah, I did. I was like,
365, yeah.
I thought that made me laugh as well.
Yeah,
She had to change it after Charlie had hers.
which was her. She was self-censoring because she could have gone out with a song called
Yeah,
365. But again, as you say, the way her mind works is quite unique. So
yeah. Thinking of the algorithm.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, already heard that. What I think of Cmat as a live performer, and seeing her at End of the Road festival last year, and that kind of took me from a uh, casual kind of uh, yeah, admirer to a believer, having seen her live and sort of revisiting. Plus the Mercury nomination last year sort of um, made me go to that album Crazy Mad for me, or sorry, 2 years ago. And yeah, realize what a stunning album that is. One of the best pop albums of the decade so far. Haven't listened to the debut one, so that is one which should be done for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean the thing which really stands out here is the writing, the lyricism. her vocals are superb as well. I think that's always going to be the thing, the glue which holds it together. And when this album soars is when you also get a musical palette to bring it all together in, seamlessly. And for me, it's the start of the record where you get that, you mentioned the single, say Euro Country is absolutely fantastic and there's so much going on there. And like you say, you can kind of just listen to it as a just enjoyable, yeah, excellent like song
Mm.
without even digging into the meaning behind it, which is quite multifaceted. And yeah, the loss of Irish identity post Celtic Tiger. Yeah, it's really anthemic, and I think yeah is one of the best for sure. And then yeah, When a Good Man Cries, which you covered, and initially, because another one you kind of shared on the chat, and when you were saying three for three that there when you'd listen to that song. And I heard it at first, I was like, yeah, it's okay. And then it's one of those I listened a few more times, and this is, yeah, by far like, yeah, one of the best, and really reminds me of Stay for Something in the way it's a really gentle song, and then towards the end is when you see Cmat just completely go for it,
Yeah, hits like
vocally.
crescendo.
Yeah, which like even yeah, she's done it before for Stay for Something, but hey, if you got that good thing going, do it again,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very different song otherwise, and yeah, um. I I used Genius, the kind of lyric kind of website to go through this album. It was a great companion because there's meanings behind all of these songs, and it's just so straightforward. So When a Good Man Cries was just about her reflecting on making a former partner of hers cry and sort of going, "Oh, am I the bad guy now?" Like, it's feminism got to that point where yeah, it's shoe on the other foot. Um, And then yeah, the Jamie Oliver petrol station, which is just hilarious, just so funny. And again, there is a profound message behind it, as you say, with the kind of her lamenting her own irrational hatred for the Jamie Oliver petrol stations she encounters, and in the chorus, sort of apologizing to his kids, and it's just like there's a good little rocky groove to it. So but those few songs after the Billy Byrne intro, it's really really on fire. And yeah, the thing which I find a bit disappointing actually is the musical accompaniment from that point on, because I just feel that her lyrics and her vocals, that standard is not met by, particularly in the middle of the album. I find a lot of the instrumentation is just very middle of the road, and I get it that you want to let the vocals shine, but I would have liked a bit more eclecticism across this album, and which you do get latterly with Janis Joplin, which I think I've did it twice where I got to that one and I go, has the album finished already? Because it's so different, this jazzy arrangement after everything else which has come before, and it just shows the value in sort of switching it up on an album. So yeah, in that sense, it kind of reminded me of Nilüfer Yanya's record from earlier this year, my Method Actor, where it begins absolutely on fire, that one, and then it just sort of hits from a musical level, hits its pace and just stays there. And that's what I feel is the biggest letdown on Euro Country here, is just from Tree 6 5. How from that point on it doesn't quite, of course there's Take a Sexy Picture of Me in the middle, um but yeah, just found that didn't excite or entice as much as I would have liked it to. But what keeps me going throughout, and what is the thing which will keep going throughout, are those stories. Lord Let That Tesla Crash, as he mentioned, is one of the highlights on the album. And um when I read the name of it, I thought you wouldn't think it would be a profound song in the way it is. So that was a real kind of like, it really hits you when you realize what it
Yeah.
is. But again, like, that really relatable moment of something quite mundane when you're in the throes of that kind of grief which she has for her friend, and she sort of said she just saw a Tesla parked outside his flat, and she just felt so angry, and is that, and again, just so incredibly relatable. And yeah, it's almost surprising because so much of her stuff is funny, is as well. So when you see the name of the song like that, you think, okay, what kind of comedy things is this going to be about? So yeah, a surprising one, but yeah. So I think where I get to with this is, like I say, like with Nilüfer Yanya, a bit of disappointment. I don't think this does reach the heights of Crazy Mad for me, but what it does do is just reinforce what a singular star Cmat is. If you can get to see her live, do. And I want to again. And yeah, there's going to be tracks on here for everyone, basically. Some real highlights on here. And yeah, I think you said it earlier in what you were saying, like, one of the artists of the 2020 so far. I can't argue with that. So yeah, it is a very strong record, even if I sometimes set high standards for artists who I particularly like.
Or they set them for themselves as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. When they've done it before, so you just want more of the same. Which, like I say, it's not against Cmat, but her, what does she call them? Her sexy band or whatever.
It's, the very sexy Cmat band.
That's the one. Yeah. So that would be my request to them. Just
Yeah.
next one, just up it a little.